Monitoring and conserving medicinal plants or threatened plant species is one of CREW's aims. So to cover this topic, I'm going to be evaluating the uses and harvest quantities of 5 medicinal plants in the Eastern Cape, and thus determining if these factors are the ones leading to the population decline of the species. So the South African strategy for plant conservation focuses on target 13. It has 16 targets, but my focus for this presentation is target 13, which focuses on indigenous knowledge associated with plant resources maintained. So African traditional medicine are large, excuse me. So African traditional medicine, a large sector in South Africa which contributes jobs, supports healthcare. Eastern Cape is one province that its indigenous knowledge or threats that are affecting plant species are known. So Eastern Cape, all in all, we have 2,000 plus plant species which are of traditional use, and from this, 656 are traded. And 656 plant species from this are traded unsustainably. This makes 19% of our plant species to be in the extinction risk. Eastern Cape has approximately 166 medicinal plant species that are traded. So I said earlier that I chose 5 medicinal plant species from the Eastern Cape. So I used a criteria I followed a criteria of how the plant species were declining in using the red list assessment. And also looking at historic data and the locality data from the Shonaland Herbarium, I was able to get study areas for these species. So these are the 7 study areas which I'll be focusing on, and so far I've focused or I've conducted interview in 3 areas, and that is Uitenhage, Makhanda, and Bathurst. So for conducting interviews, I'll be targeting muti vendors, traditional healers, herbalists, and muti shop owners. And I will be asking questions like what part of the plant they're using, how they use it, where they harvest it, and how much do they harvest. And this is how my species occur in these study areas. So the questions that I followed, or I will be following, were formulated using paper by Tony Dold and Thring. The questions will be asked on all the 5 species, irregardless if they occur in that region or not. So a minimum of 50 individuals will be interviewed. And thus far I have interviewed 6. And a recorder will be used with the permission of the participant. So these are my preliminary results, and these are the number of participants that I've interviewed. I've interviewed 3 muti vendors, 1 muti store owner, and a traditional healer. So from the 3 muti vendors, 1 I interviewed was not interested because he stated factors like we are taking their nature or the natural environment from them. So these are the recorded results from the questions that I asked. the uses, the parts used, and the area of harvest. So from this results, when you're looking at the part used, we can see that most of the plant species, they are uprooted. Like for them to collect the bulb, they have to take the whole plant. And the areas of harvest are different. The participant harvest in different areas. They don't just harvest locally. And these are the results for, these are images showing the traditional healer from Bathurst, a muti shop in Grahamstown, and a Bowie volubilis propagated at a muti shop. So from this is a map showing the areas that are harvested by these three participants from three areas. So participants from Utinake travel to Paddy to collect. They travel to Somerset. That also goes for the Bathurst and the Makhanda. So for my discussion is that from what I observed from my results is that all species are known by the participant. Even if the species is not occurring in that specific area, but they do know it, they know how to collect it, and they go to greater lengths to collect. They travel to far distances just to collect the plant species. Participant mentioned not knowing locality for Encephalitis altisteini. They did know what it was used for, but the locality they didn't want to reveal. And this, I think it's probably because they are afraid of getting into trouble because they're collecting it illegally. So the harvesting, as I said, from my map before, that the participants don't collect only locally. They go far distances to collect, and when they do that, from my quantity harvest results, I've observed that they over collect because they're thinking of the distance they're gonna travel to go back. And they think of the distance they're going to travel to go back, and the demand the clients want the medicinal plants. So most of the plants were also uprooted there, and this can lead to the decrease in the population of these plant species because they overharvest, they uproot everything, and that leads to the population density declining. Some harvesters, one harvester from Makhanda Station, propagates her plants, the red plants that she finds in the field. She propagates them then that shows that she is conservation-minded. So for my recommendation is that conservation agencies must work in collaboration with harvesters by allowing them to sustainably collect the plants that they need. We must educate harvesters about the consequences of overharvesting, because if they need a leaf, if a leaf is used to treat that medicinal alignment, then that person should only collect the leaf and not the whole plant. We should also educate them on sustainable ways to collect plants. For example, on the lady who propagates her plants, we can educate them on taking the rare plants to the comfort of their own homes and growing them. So for my conclusion on this result is that some people overharvest these plants without considering environmental impacts, and this is because their livelihoods depend on it. Thank you.